Welcome back. Let's visit with Shauna Troy, local co-owner of Lohr Vineyards and Wines, a sustainable winery that also received Winery of the Year this year from Wine Enthusiast. As a wine educator with a grape affair, I'm often asked two questions. First of all, what's your favorite wine? And second of all, what's a great value wine? Well, one winery that I can usually answer both questions with is Lohr Vineyards and Wine. With us today is Shauna Troy, co-owner and New England Regional Manager for Lohr Vineyards and Wines. Thank you so much for joining us today, Shauna. So an impressive part of Lohr is that it has been family owned and operated since 1972. Tell us more about that.
Well, Jerry Lohr grew up on a South Dakota farm, so he was well versed in farming and decided to do his extensive research in the late 60s and eventually decided to start in the Arroyo Seco appellation of Monterey and planted his first grapes there in 1972 and 73. And from there he grew, and by the mid-80s he had land in Paso Robles as well.
And in January of 2010 you received certified distinction from the California Sustainable Wine Growing Alliance.
Yes, we did.
That's great. Tell us about the green practices of Lohr.
That was a great distinction to get because it's a pretty strict certification. But we've been a very forward-thinking winery from the very beginning and have always wanted to be very responsible with our practices. And we actually launched over a year ago the largest solar array in all of North American wine industry that was set to conserve 75% of our energy. And it spans over 3 acres at the winery.
Wow, very impressive.
Thank you, yeah.
And speaking of impressive, big year for Lohr. You also this year became Winery of the Year from Wine Enthusiast magazine. That's huge, congratulations.
Thank you very much, yeah. And that is a super honor for us to have. And I think that it continues to reaffirm to our customers, to the general public, that we are proud of being a family-owned winery, independent, and that we will continue to put out great values and to let the land guide us really in our winemaking.
Great. So speaking of wines that people can relate to, we have 3 of your best examples here with us today. Tell us a little bit about the vineyards that these represent.
What we have here is our estate Chardonnay as well as our estate Cabernet, which is definitely our 2 flagship wines, what people would see most often out in the marketplace. We have the Seven Oaks Estate Cabernet from our Paso Robles region, and then also the Carol's Vineyard from our Vineyard Series lineup in Napa.
And the story behind the name of Carol's Vineyard?
Yes, this vineyard for us was established quite some years ago, and Carol is actually Jerry Lohr's late wife who passed away, unfortunately, a couple years back. And it's nice to still have this vineyard with her name on it. It makes us feel like, I guess, she's still here with us.
That's a great story. And so one last question, where can people find Lohr wines?
Well, depending on the state you live in, I think it's fairly easy to find us. Definitely, as I mentioned, what you see most often is our Cabernet and Chardonnay. If you're in New Hampshire, we're definitely in a lot of the state stores. But we try to have great presence in many restaurants around New England, as well as some fine wine boutique shops as well.
Great, and of course right here at Annika Jan's in Kittery.
And here at Annika Jan's,
here we are today, sipping this great glass of wine and enjoying each other's company. So thank you so much for your time today. It was a pleasure to visit with you and enjoying some of your Lohr wines. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Carla.
Cheers.
Cheers.